If you're tuning in to Verdane TV looking for the Fatheads Cup Series Indianapolis 150 at the Brickyard, you're in the right place. A little bit of technical difficulties here this evening. Maybe a little bit too many cervezas for race officials, but getting everything underway here, we will bring you some live racing action coming up as soon as we possibly can. Do not go anywhere, and while you wait, go check out Verdane.shop, buy yourself a hat, a t-shirt, a hoodie, all sorts of good stuff with the Verdane TV logo. We got Run a Race Car merch, Angry Tree Guy, Two Drunk Esports, and more. Be sure to check that out. Verdane.shop in the address bar gets you where you need to be. We'll be back live here shortly to bring you all the action from Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Have you seen my kick-ass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.
CTWE wrestler The Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends at Rent a Race Car, you can!
Visit www.rentaracecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
One of the biggest challenges of managing a fleet of trucks, tractor trailers, and material handling equipment, hassling with maintenance, repair, and vehicle breakdown. Trans Service's dedicated contract maintenance service, DCM, takes that hassle away. We maintain your fleet, no matter what the configuration, to the highest standards, while giving you the greatest cost control. We offer preventative maintenance executed to maximum utilization, equipment life, and necessary repairs, all tracked by a state-of-the-art paperless computerized system. Assistance with equipment engineering, configuration, including new engine technology, and onboard computers for your fleet, as well as dedicated fleet contract maintenance. Dedicated on-site service facilities staffed with management and certified maintenance technicians, inventories of parts, tires, and fluids, and all necessary shop equipment, diagnostic tools, and technology. Supporting services such as equipment inspections and assistance with meeting regulatory requirements, DOT, OSHA, EPA. Contact us today to learn about our turnkey contract maintenance solutions. It's all about the experience, yours and ours.
Cerveza, por favor. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody, and welcome to Vidane TV. Here for a Wednesday night edition, some Fatheads Cup racing here for the Indy 150 at the Brickyard. Very excited to have everybody here tonight. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. doing a little double duty action in the production trailer and the commentary booth. Definitely not alone. I'm joined by Kyle Young, as always, and a newcomer up here in the booth. You saw him race here last Thursday night, Vern Markheim. Vern, great to have you here, making your commentary debut here tonight.
Thank you, Paul. We're going to have some fun tonight at Indy. This is my home track. One guy to really watch out for is Kenny Kapala. Dude was fast in practice, fast in qualifying. He's going to be the guy to watch tonight, Paul.
Absolutely. And Kyle, you've been keeping track of all the points and statistics with these guys. We know the 19 car won last week. Very exciting interview in victory lane with Mr. Absher, and he is ready to rock and roll. He wants to win these next two races and make everybody race their way in on points. You ready for the action here tonight, brother?
Oh, absolutely, Paul. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, always a special place, even to the iRacers here on the iRacing service. And we were making mention about it last week during the race at New Hampshire. This is a racetrack that is not at all designed for these NASCAR stock cars. This was built as an IndyCar track, obviously. Anybody that knows anything about racing knows that. And I think from what we've seen throughout the practice in this qualifying so far is that is playing very true. These guys are having a handful with these race cars around this 2.5 mile, very famous racetrack. So should be very interesting to see what happens here tonight. As you mentioned, a lot of hype and a lot of excitement coming out of Trevor Absher's win last week. Looks like he's getting ready to roll off fourth on the grid, so another great piece underneath of him and his number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing team. Going to try to go for 2 in a row, get himself some more playoff points. Should be an exciting 60 laps here at the Brickyard.
Want to let everybody know here tonight that tonight's race is brought to you by SimNut Racing Sims. They offer high-quality sim racing cockpits and monitor signs. Monitor stands, easy enough for me to say, rigid, durable, and customizable to fit your needs. Our rigs are manufactured and shipped from a 300-square-foot facility right here in the good old US of A. Budget sim boxes. If you're looking for a budget box while maintaining your budget rig, you've come to the right place. We have 3 different baseline models ranging from $38 to $60. Custom builds are available and pricing depending on buttons and switches for different configurations. As well as Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products are silent subwoofers that deliver powerful, inaudible bass through your couch or your chair so you can feel the crashes, the racing engines, and special effects in all your movies and games. And also by Harpoon Design. Online image is everything in today's business world, from brand identity to effective digital marketing and graphics. Harpoon Design is the one-stop shop for all your graphic design needs. They offer artistic solutions for all modern mediums, including print, electronic, and web media. And as always, by Fatheads Eyewear. Check these guys out at fatheads.com. That's Fatheads with a Z. Fatheads Eyewear encompasses 5 distinct lines of eyewear, specializing in overhead-sized frames and including standard frames for men and women. And as always, use that promo code SHOWTIME at checkout for 40% off. And by your friends here at Vidane TV. If you like what you're seeing, we're doing it live. Be sure to tip the Vidane TV crew. $3 will get us a beer or a cerveza today here on Cinco de Mayo. $10 will get us a beer and a burger. $25 will actually get us a DoorDash meal. Be sure to tip your Vidane TV crew and let us know that you enjoyed the show. And man, what a show we are getting ready to watch here, Kyle. We're watching all these drivers line up on the front stretch. Let's go through that starting grid.
Indeed we shall, and on the pole, Vern made mention of him, Kenny Kapala. He will start it out, qualified 1/100th of a second faster than Alonzo King on his outside, who will start second in car number 47.
Starting in third place in that number 7 is Chris Spear. Chris Spear's out of Carolina. His time tonight, a 49.377. On the outside of him, your winner from last week, Trevor Absher, with a time of 49.475.
Completing your top 5 starters tonight is the 00 machine. He is your regular season champion. That is Tim Wortman Jr. And on Wortman's outside is car number 13, a fellow playoff driver and race winner this season with the Fatheads Cup Series, the 13 Preston Perrier.
And on that inside line, 3 rows back, Wayne Bowen. And that number 11 with a 49.648. On the outside of him, David Buthwith with a time of 49.745.
Ken Eller in car number 95. He's going to roll off 9th on the grid here tonight and completing your top 10. The brother, I believe, to the, some relative to the last week's winner, Trevor Absher, the number 18 of Jimmy Absher.
Matt Macklin in that number 9 car with a 49.964. Ed Boyles on the outside of him with a 50.011.
Ryan Clay in car number 15 will roll off in position number 13, and Ian Yeager will start 14th in his number 27 ride.
Michael Miller with a 54.78 starting in 15th. Tim Ingram with a 55.22 and 60.
Joshua Battles will start in position number 17. James Kern 18th. Pete Woodrum 19th. He was the final car to qualify. Then Colin Zeimer, Derek Cook, Charles Stevens, and Caleb Levener completing the 23-car field. Pace car is down on to pit road. The green flag is out, and the Indianapolis 150 at the Brickyard is underway. Alonzo King and Ken Capalla will lead the field down into turn number 1 for the first time. Capalla's got the advantage, and he will very quickly clear Alonzo King for the race lead heading into turn number 2.
You'll notice very quickly, Hendrick Motorsports down a teammate here tonight, waiting on a new crew member tonight. Wade Palmer V on baby duty. His wife has, in fact, gone into labor, waiting for Miss Sadie to enter in the world, and we've got him on speed dial here. He's going to let us know, keep us in the loop throughout the night, and very, very excited. Want to congratulate the entire Palmer family on a new baby Sadie coming into the world, new crew member for Hendrick Motorsports.
That's always exciting news there. Wishing him and the family the best. Of course, we'd love to see him out here racing in this event, but things sometimes are a little bit more important in the virtual racing world than that obviously being a very big importance there. Lap number 1 will go to Kenny Capalla in car number 3. Already starting to see it here, gentlemen. Whoa, right there, big slide out of the 47 of Alonzo King. Made a mention of it during the qualifying session. These guys have been battling with this racetrack, and you're already starting to see it. Cars are slipping and sliding all throughout this racetrack already. Could be because we're still very early into this race. The tires haven't had an opportunity to warm up yet and have reached their maximum grip potential. But this is going to be a war of attrition tonight, Paul. This racetrack, very treacherous for these drivers, and you're starting to see that already early on.
100%. And Vern, you're very familiar with these Cup cars. You run them on Thursday night with the Multi-League Racing Group, and there you see another big wiggle out of the 47 of Alonzo King. But you were studying these guys really hard in practice, and you noticed the setup, the track feels like it's a little bit on the loose side, a little bit hot and slick on the surface here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, you're going to notice in turn 1 and 2 with that shadow, you're going to get a little tight condition. But coming off of turn 2, it's going to get a little loose. And then also going in turn 3 and 4, always loose at this track. It's just the way you enter it in, the way right at that apex, turn 1 and 2, down those short chutes, you're going to want to get to that wall. But the problem that you're going to see with that is these guys are going to get so close, they're going to rack up and hit that right side and dent up that right fender. So you got to really take care of that right side, get a nice smooth run off the corner, so that way those long straightaways, you can outdrive people.
Riding on board with the number 47 of Alonzo King, 4 sets of tires down on pit road with a 60% fuel load capacity, and you can see 192 miles an hour as we head on down into turn number 1. Tires absolutely going to play a factor here tonight. Looking like it may be able to get about 18 to 22 laps on a tank of fuel. Looking like these guys are kind of planning out a 2-stop race here, Kyle.
Yeah, and of course that is determining on how many laps of caution we get throughout this race. And if we don't get any yellows, it'll be very interesting to see how that pit strategy plays out. There's definitely some wiggle room there to try to make it a 2-stop race. And as mentioned, with as difficult as this track is going to be for these guys tonight, the tire wear is going to be extremely important as well. You would think that with the fuel window being the way that it is, doesn't usually sound like a very long time out on the racetrack, so they should be able to get the rubber to last that long on fuel. But that's just part of the strategy fun. You never know how these guys are going to strategize their race based off of tires or based off of fuel. And I guess it just depends on how well the car is handling. If you're slipping and sliding around all over the place, you're going to wear those tires out faster, and it's going to be much harder to control later on in the run. if you're conservative, got a great setup underneath of you, can handle this 2.5-mile behemoth of a racetrack, you should be good throughout the entire run and should have a decent tread life throughout your run and be able to make it to the end of the fuel window for your pit stops.
Taking a peek at last week's winner there, the number 19 of Trevor Absher, leading this little 4-car pack here, 4th on back to 8th. And, man, the 19 car, the whole entire crew, the Absher family, he and Trevor and Jimmy, these guys are in championship mode for sure. Big win last week. Lots of excitement out of the 19 camp, and very, very cool to see him to win that race. First win on Verdane TV, first win in the Fatheads Cup Series, and it locked himself into the round of 8. So, big-time excitement. When we asked him what he was going to do this week, he said he was going to win. When we asked him what he was going to do next week, he said he was going to win.
Yeah, a lot of confidence after that victory last week for Trevor Absher. And he's never been a driver to lack confidence throughout this season whatsoever. It just finally came to a head. And at a great time, too. There's no better time to get a win than in the playoffs. So setting himself up very nicely, going to try to do everything that he can to stack up the extra playoff points to start off that round of 8 with a good opportunity to get to the championship 4. You just saw his teammate Wayne Bowen slipping to the inside there and taking over position number 4. Those two JGR cars had a tremendous race last week, Vern. I know that you weren't here with us, but Wayne Bowen led the majority of that race. Trevor Absher came on very, very strong late on and kind of stole it away from him, went on to take the victory. Both of those drivers went into last week without a victory. Obviously, very different mentalities, with one being in the playoffs and one not, but we're already seeing it again here. Inside the top 5 very early on, both cars looking good. They're about 5.5 to 6 seconds off of race leader Kenny Capalla, but still a lot of time to adjust and continue their progress from what they had last week.
And one thing that you're seeing with these guys running in this pack right here, they're racing awfully hard. You think they're saving tires, but with them running side by side every now and then, all they're doing is burning up their tires. Now, Trevor, he's going to be the guy that really watch here, because I've been watching him. He's trying to be as conservative as possible, stay out of the stream, out of that number 11. Now, one thing you might see tonight is a long pit. A long pit being about 22 laps, 23 laps, try to stretch it out a little bit. So that way, that next stint is going to be a little bit shorter, and the last stint will even be shorter than that. And then you're going to see some of these guys towards the back of the pack do a little bit of short pitting. That short pitting will gain you a bunch at the beginning, but boy, you're going to pay for it at the end, Paul.
And we've seen lots of different strategies over the last few weeks here on Verdane TV with these Cup cars. Lots of different action. We just wrapped up with the Sim Racing Unleashed guys on Sunday night with their championship race at Talladega, and that's a whole different animal itself. But lots of different strategies with these Cup cars, and a new iRacing update this afternoon came through. So some minor changes to these Cup cars, and it's one of those things that the driver's pretty much, big wiggle out of Ed Boyles Jr. there in the Fatheads number 88, but he keeps it going in the right direction. He's going to fall back in line between Ken Ellert there in the 95, but it makes it so these drivers really have to kind of adjust on the fly, so to speak, and it really shows just how talented a lot of these drivers are. As you can see, the Hendrick Motorsports teammates, the 88 of Ed Boyles Jr. and the 9 of Matt Mackin, kind of getting together. This is a big enough track where you can kind of draft a little bit in the corners, but it definitely helps on those long straightaways here, Kyle.
Yeah, without a doubt. Usually with the Indy cars, the draft comes into play very, very dramatically here. You do get a sense of the draft here with these NASCAR Cup cars, obviously not as much as the Indy cars are, but there is still some draft pull, and you can kind of see these Hendrick Motorsports teammates trying to work with each other a little bit. That's Ed Boyles Jr. in the 88 and Matt Mackin in position, or in car number 9, running in position number 11. Both of these cars, well, actually, Ed Boyles Jr. came into the night. He's actually the leader in the points of those that did not have a win. He is 12 points above the cut line. Unfortunately for Matt Mackin, he's at the very bottom, position number 12, but he's only 9 points out of the cut right now. So things are still very, very tight. They were extremely tight kicking the round off last week at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Still very tight here heading into Indianapolis. So it's obviously not the position that Matt wants to be in, being the last guy in the standings, but only 9 points out. He realizes that it's still very doable to get himself into the round of 8. You want to be aggressive. You want to be strong. You want to make sure you do everything you can to succeed, but you cannot allow yourself to make next week's race at Michigan even more difficult for you than what this one is right now.
And
boy, you missed out on a big pass for the lead. Alonzo King passes Kukla when he gets loose in turn 1 and 2, diving into that corner, got it just a little bit too low on the apron on the rumble strips. That allowed the driver of Alonzo King to pass him by, and then shortly thereafter, Chris Spear passes him by. So your former leader, Kukla, with fast time in practice and qualifying, falling back to third, Paul.
Got to keep in mind, looking at that number 7 car, Chris Spear running in that second position, you'll notice there's no bright green stripe on the windshield. There's no bright green stripe on that rear spoiler. That means he is not a contender for the championship here. Everybody with those green stripes, in fact, in the round of 12, trying to make it to the round of 8. But that doesn't mean these guys aren't racing for nothing. They're racing for wins, very obviously. Every time you go out on track, you want to come home with the victory. But there's also the Bounty Hunter Challenge, $60 up for grab for the first driver not in the playoffs to come out and win a race. So pretty cool to see Chris Spear up there battling for the lead. He's got about 10 car lengths he's got to make up, but the car looks stable, and it looks like he might very well be on tap here tonight to try and win that $60, Kyle.
Yeah, Chris Spear has been taking this series extremely seriously, been putting in a lot of work and effort to be as competitive as he can be. Over the last few weeks of the regular season, he was a threat to win one of those races, and he had to get a victory in order to make it in. Whoa, big slide there for Alonzo King, going to lose some momentum. That could allow Spear to close in here. Looks like he's going to do so down the front stretch, but he's going to have enough momentum to make the pass into turn number 1. But as I was saying, Chris Spear put in a lot of effort the last few races of the regular season to try to get that win to put himself into the playoffs. Unfortunately, he was not able to do so, but it doesn't surprise me at all to see him continuing to be competitive here in this series. And now he has something else to chase after. He has that $60 bonus to go for, and that's a big deal. $60 to go win an iRacing race. If you're looking for iRacing content, maybe to put the money right back into the sim, you can get yourself some decent content off of that, with most content being placed around $12 to $15. Maybe extend your membership, or who knows, with the type of guy that Chris is and being an administrator to this league, maybe he's going to reinvest it into the league. Who knows what he would do, but it's great to see him continuing the success. Obviously not making the playoffs is not anything that he had on his agenda, but he's still trying to make the best of this playoff season and try to go out with a victory, take his first victory of the year, and win that $60 bonus.
He could also take that $60 right over to FATHEADZ.com, FATHEADZ with a Z. Use that promo code SHOWTIME. Get himself 40% off at checkout and get himself a pretty snazzy pair of shades. They carry the Smoke brand, Tony Stewart's brand of eyeglasses, and all sorts of other cool stuff as well. I've got the Black Nitro version 2s made right here in the USA. Wore them at the track this past weekend, 2 weekends ago, at the Napa Spring Sizzler at Stafford Motor Speedway, and pretty cool. They got the clear, transparent frames, so I didn't really get that raccoon sunburn that I usually get when I wear my sunglasses at the racetrack. So big part of racing, Fatheads Eyewear, big part of sim racing, and we always want to support those that support us and that support our friends. So definitely check them out, fatheads.com, fatheads with a Z, and use that promo code SHOWTIME for 40% off.
Well, I'll tell you guys, the guy on the move right now is that Wayne Bowen. Wayne Bowen was almost 6 seconds back. He's now closed it up to 4 seconds. So he's pulled away from your last week's winner, Trevor Absher, and now chasing down your leader.
You can see right there on your screen, started in 7th, currently running in the 4th position, and you can see right there the fastest lap he's run is a 50.5. His last lap was a 52.7, almost a little bit better than 2 seconds slower since the beginning of this run here, 15 laps in. Tire wear really starting to be a factor, and that's why you're seeing a lot of these drivers really spread out, trying to take a peek around the track. It looks like the closest battle right here is going to be Tim Wortman Jr. in the double aught car right behind Matt Mackin at the 9, trying to run him down, trying to run down that top 10. And Tim Wortman sitting in pretty well in points. He is the regular season champion before we got into the playoffs, came into tonight's race 4th in points, 11 points above that cut line. But it's a crazy tight points battle here. We've got 24 drivers started this race, 22 still on the lead lap, and 23 still in this race. Currently Jimmy Absher, the only car 2 laps down in that number 18 car in the 23rd position here, Kyle.
I got to say, guys, I'm very surprised to see Tim Wortman Jr. running where he is right now in position number 11. He started in 5th, has slipped back just a little bit here in the first quarter of this race. Again, this is the regular season champion that we're talking about, the guy with 16 top 10 finishes. He's been to victory lane 3 times so far this season. A bit of a struggle right now for that 0-0 ride, and it's also a little surprising because he's teammates with Kenny Capola in the number 3 machine, who qualified on the pole and is still running in the 3rd spot. You're checking out this battle on screen right here between the 33 machine of Tim Ingram and the 48 of Mike Miller. This is going on just behind Tim Wortman Jr. for position number 12. You can see Ingram opens up the bottom there for Mike Miller, but Miller just doesn't quite get the run until the exit of the turn there to pull up, and Ingram is going to let him go on by. So move that Ally Chevrolet into position number 12 ahead of Tim Ingram. The 48 Mike Miller, a winner in the round of 16 here in the playoffs, up 3 positions so far from 15th, trying to make a push to continue his playoff run here in Indianapolis.
Now we're getting close to pit stops, gentlemen. We're only a few laps away before you start seeing these guys dive down to pit road. The question is, are they going to split this into 2 pit stops, pit on lap 20, or are they going to spread it out just a little bit further? And you were also talking about Tim Wortman, Kyle. If you notice on his right side, he's got a little bit of right side damage. If you notice on a lot of these cars now, they're scraping that wall coming off the corner, and that's either off turn 1 or turn 3. And what happens is you're just drifting up and they're just hitting it. But again, now you're seeing Alonzo King pull away from the field a little bit more. Chris Spear hanging with him a little bit, but now Wade Bowen, he's fallen back even further. He's fallen back another half second, Paul.
And it's one of those deals where these guys are pretty much trying to set up their pit stops here. It looks like it's definitely going to be a green flag stop. You can already see a couple of drivers coming on down to get service. The number 4 of Pete Woodrum down on pit road, as well as that number 11 of Wayne Bowen. He's down there with last week's winner Trevor Absher as well, going to get service to that car. So coming a little bit early, I think, for my taste, working lap number 19, crossing the stripe for lap number 20. It's one of those deals. They might want to try and stretch it for the next stop to try and make sure that they're good for a green-white checker. This is a big racetrack that you really don't want to run out of gas in the last lap. The 95 of Ken Eller down as well.
And a very bad pit entry for the 19 of Trevor Absher. He is still trying to get that Bass Pro Shops Toyota properly pitted into his stall. He finally does so now, but he is going to lose a ton of time on the racetrack. Again, not a lot for him to worry about. He did win last week. He knows he's going to the round of 8, but you want to be able to optimize these last 2 races, and that mistake right there is going to cost him a little bit of time. Taking a look up at things still on the racetrack, race leader Alonzo King, he's got Chris Spear tucked up right behind him. Those 2 cars being very patient and respectful with each other, nothing too aggressive just yet. They know that they have a pit stop coming in. Your pole sitter is on pit road of Kenny Capola. Ed Boyles Jr. is on pit road. Matt Mackett is on pit road. So we are well within our first green flag pit stop cycle. And I got to agree with you here, Paul. Me personally, if I was down there, I would be trying my best to make this fuel run last until lap number 20. So not sure if these guys are trying to do the 2-stop strategy, if they're just not worried about that and just trying to go for 3. But it's going to be very interesting because the guys up front, Alonzo King, Chris Spear, Preston Purrier, I do believe, is still out on the racetrack. These guys have made it the first third of the race. So now a 2-stop strategy, if we stay green, very much alive for these drivers, whereas the ones that we've seen come down to pit road already, they may not be able to make that happen.
Well, you're starting to see the leaders now come down pit road. Chris Spear announcing he's coming down pit road next. So you're going to see that number 7 dive down. Now let's see if the number 47 follows him. Technically, Alonzo is now going to pit this time around. So now the leader's going to come in. The best thing that they have going for them right now is that they're going to have the fresher tires out of the top 5. So one thing to mention about that, this track is so abrasive. You get that short run speed versus that long run speed. Those guys that pitted 2 laps ago, they're going to fall off a lot quicker and a lot harder, Paul.
And some of the drivers that have come down pit road so far, they've got the better tires on the car right now. So they're coming off with 1 or 2 quick lap times. But again, you made mention here, Vern, that they're pretty much going to kind of even out here if we stay green. Charles Stevenson, number 20 car, staying out here. Looks like he's going to try and lead himself a lap. James Kerr, Ian Yeager, and Colin Zemer currently still out on track. 4 drivers that have not come down and made their first pit stop yet. And you can see Alonzo King still kind of holding on to that lead, but these drivers kind of running in a pack here. 1, 2, and 3 going to come on around, and they're going to see if they come down pit road here momentarily. But one of the things that I didn't really see any of the drivers struggle with too much here is that a pit road exit, and very, very treacherous, a very thin line going through. It's one of those deals, Kyle, where you really want to map the gas and get on around there quick. There's no grip, especially with as hot and slick as this racetrack is today.
Yeah, this is a very unique pit exit. You have to stay down on the apron on through those access roads until you exit turn number 2. I don't know if it's the IndyCar version of this track or if it's every version. I know it's sometimes I've seen drivers go up onto the racetrack in turn number 2 and then they come back down onto the apron. I haven't seen anybody try to risk that just yet. They're kind of playing it as normal. But you're very right. It's very slippery, very easy to mash the gas a little too hard, get the car sideways, and find yourself in trouble trying to get off a pit lane. The green flag pit stop cycle still continues, and want to make mention here, after Alonzo King and Chris Spear came off of pit road, Chris Spear actually beat Alonzo King coming off of pit road. Alonzo was right on his back bumper. He very quickly made the pass to get around Chris Spear, and he is leaving him in his wake, putting in a very big distance already. He just put Ken Ellert in between those 2 cars. So a very good-looking number 47 car after that first green flag pit stop.
That was a good catch on your part there, Kyle, catching out how they swapped positions coming out of pit road. The problem that you saw that was number 47 of Alonzo King in pit road missed his pit, had to back up, so he lost precious seconds in pit road. Now you're seeing him running right outside that top 5. These other guys, keep in mind, they pitted early, so they're not going to have that speed that these guys are going to have in about 10 laps, Paul.
Alonzo King really looking for a good run here this evening. Had a rough go of it last week. Currently 8th in points, plus 0 above that cut, right ahead of Preston Perrier, tied for that 8th position. And Preston's actually right in front of him in that number 13 Snarg Geico car. And a couple of drivers having a really good run here as well. Wayne Bowen going to cycle back through as the leader in that number 11 car. And there you can see Preston Perrier right behind him. But that Alonzo King machine is coming. That 47 car very, very quick with those new set of tires.
The benefit of Wayne Bowen coming in pit road at the beginning of the cycle is that he is able to jump those cars that pit a little bit later, but you're going to give up some tire wear later on in the run, and you're starting to see that as Preston Perrier is tracking him down very quickly. Perrier in the playoffs, a winner earlier this season, has not won yet. Or did he win? I think, actually, now that I think about it, I think he may have won the opening round of the playoffs here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. So he's trying to get another win and trying to get himself into the round of 8 and continue the strong season that he has had. I know that Preston is probably one of the most popular drivers in this series when it comes to our Verdane TV viewers. So they are enjoying, if they are here, I'm assuming that they are enjoying seeing that number 13 Chevrolet closing in on Wayne Bowen for the race lead, trying to see if their man can take it. He's looking to the outside of Bowen. That's a very interesting strategy mover, and you don't see that happen too often here at Indy.
No, you don't. And what happens when you're on that outside is you smack that wall, just like what you see in that number 11 and Kupla as well. They both have right side damage. They're the biggest losers out of that pit stop. And if you notice right now, they're battling it out for that position. Kupla gets right on his back bumper and just loosens up Trevor. So Trevor's struggling in that number 19. Same with Kupla. Paul?
Side by side for the lead here. Wayne Bowen trying to hold off the 13 of Preston Perrier, but Preston Perrier had a big run on the bottom side. A little bit loose that time by. He's going to think better of it and tuck right back into the tire tracks of that number 11 car. Working lap number 26 here, getting ready to cross the stripe for lap 27. 3 laps away already from the halfway marker. Want to thank everybody tuning in to Verdane TV here tonight on Facebook and on YouTube. Be sure to give us a like and a share. Smash that subscribe button. Don't smash it. Just click on it nice and lightly. That's all we need. And definitely tell your friends you're watching some e-racing or iRacing here this evening. I want to let you know again, tonight's race is brought to you by SimNut Racing Sims. And they have equipment that's put together right here in the United States. All sorts of cockpits and monitor stands. Very durable, very customizable, and they will fit any need that you could possibly need to get everything hooked up. Also, buy budget sim boxes. If you're looking for a button box with maintaining your budget, you've come to the right place. They've got 3 different baseline models ranging from $38 to $60. Custom bills are available. Pricing depending on how you get the configuration set up. Also, buy Butt Kicker, silent subwoofers that deliver powerful, inaudible bass through your couch or your chair so you can feel the crashes, feel the racing engines, and all the special effects in your movies and other games as well. Check those guys out on Facebook, Butt Kicker. They've been around for a long time, been a big part of the sim racing community. Harpoon Design, online images, everything in today's business world, from brand identity to effective digital marketing graphics. Harpoon Designs is one-stop shop for all your graphic design needs. They offer artistic solutions for all the modern mediums, including print, electronic, and web media. Also, buy FATHEADZ.com. FATHEADZ Eyewear. We've talked about that promo code. Chris Spear trying to get that's $60. Actually, Wayne Bowen in the catbird seat for that $60 right now as he gets passed for the lead by Alonzo King. We told you that 47 car was coming, and there he is. Going to move that 47 car right up in the lead. But FATHEADZ.com, check them out. Promo code SHOWTIME for 40% off at checkout. And by your friends here at Verdane TV. Be sure to tip the Verdane TV crew if you like what you see. $3 will get us a beer. $10 will get us a beer and a burger, and $25 will get us a DoorDash meal. If you like what you see, be sure to tip the crew. Tip.verdane.net. We appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. And Kyle, this is a pretty good race so far. Green flag for the first entire half as we cross the stripe, working lap number 30.
Yeah, this has been a very interesting race thus far. We've seen some strategy come into play here, seeing a couple different drivers mix with the race lead, but I don't think we've seen anybody quite as fast as what we're seeing with Alonzo King right now. Did not come out of the pit cycle with the race lead because some of the drivers that he just had to pass came in a few laps prior to him, but there is a lot of speed underneath the hood of that MVP Chevrolet Camaro right now. He is looking absolutely stout. Feel fairly safe in saying that he is on a 2-stop pit strategy. I think he should be able to do that with ease if this thing does stay green. And he's already got 0.8 of a second ahead of Wayne Bowen and Preston Purrier. Chris Spear are starting to close in, so that's about to become a 3-car battle for position number 2. This could be Alonzo King's night. Looking at his season thus far, 2 top 5 finishes, 7 top 10 finishes, obviously put himself into the playoffs. He was one of the cars in the mix for the victory last week at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, could not get it done. And as you said earlier in the race, Paul, he is the cut line right now. He's only a point ahead of Preston Purrier in that 8th and final spot. That all goes away if he goes to victory lane tonight. He's looking good here as he's getting ready to complete the first half of the race. Can he keep it up here in the second half? That's going to be the big question. Cross flags are in the air. We are halfway through the Indianapolis 150 at the Brickyard. It is led currently by Alonzo King, Wayne Bowen, Preston Purrier, Chris Spear, and Ken Eller. Complete your top 5.
Right outside that top 5, you can see David Douthwaite in that number 23 machine. Having a quiet run so far. Been about 10 laps since he came down pit road. Nobody in front, nobody behind. Just having a pretty solid run here in the number 23 Columbia machine. And you can see really holding a pretty steady line coming off of the corners here. Behind him, a little bit of, quite a bit of a distance, 16.5 seconds behind the leader. There you can see the battle for 7th, Ed Boyles Jr. in the double 8 car, sponsored by Fatheads. You can see the kind of a throwback nationwide paint scheme to the Dale Jr. days with the Fatheads logo. It's one of my favorite paint schemes that I think I've seen here on Verdane TV. But he's under attack by the double 8 car of Tim Wortman Jr. Made mention a couple of times. He's the regular season champion. Currently came into tonight 4th in points. So not a bad run, currently running in 8th, trying to get that 7th position, but he definitely wants to get a little bit more cushion as we head into Michigan next week. Michigan, a great big track just like this one, but a little bit different, kind of a great big cookie cutter type deal, and with the new drafting package here with the iRacing simulator, anything could happen, and it's one of those deals where these guys are going to be practicing all week long, and you know exactly how these cars run here, Vern. It's one of those deals, if they if they don't practice with the new updates and everything like that, you never know what's going to happen.
Boy, you are right on that. You get lost if you don't know what's going on. Another good battle. Battling out for the top 10 is Matt Macklin and your last week's winner, Trevor Absher. If you notice on that number 19 on Trevor Absher in that, now going into 9th, he's still got that right side damage, so he wasn't able to get that repaired going in the pits. In 11th spot, Kenny Kupla. He's lost a lot of positions starting on the pole with fast time. He's fallen back to 11th. Michael Miller in 12th. Ryan Clean in in the 13th position. And then in 14th is Charles Stevens. He's just hanging out back there. He's almost about a lap down. He's 31 seconds back. Just struggling tonight like a lot of these guys are. One car that's in the pits right now is that Ian Yeager. Ian Yeager just about put out the caution as he goes into turn 1. Like I was saying, clips that apron and hits that outside wall, does a 360, manages to straighten it out before any cars get up to him to trigger that yellow flag, smokes it all the way into the pit stall. So tough luck tonight for Ian Yeager in that number 27 car, Paul.
Absolutely, and the 88 and the 00 car still battling back and forth here. 4th to 7th position. Currently give it to, well, they're still neck and neck, door handle to door handle. Looks like the 88 going to get the advantage here as they come down that massive front straightaway here, Kyle, and pretty much the closest action on track is these two cars. You can see there's actually a three-way battle here for the 9th position. Last week's winner, Trevor Absher, Matt Mackin, and Kenny Coppola kind of rocking together here. You can almost hook a chain up between, you can see Pete Woodrum there in the 4 car struggling with the handling just a little bit. He's going to go up on the high side, get up out of the way, and it looks like Trevor Absher is going to pull away from that 9 car.
Yeah, starting to see a lot of different battles develop here as we are working through the beginning portions of the second half of this race. A lot of playoffs doing some good battling, as we just saw there with Ed Boyles Jr. and Tim Wortman Jr. That one is still not over, Paul, as they come off of turn number 4. Wortman Jr. was trying to work his way to the inside there, couldn't quite do it. Now he's trying to follow that Fatheads number 88, try to get a draft. Looks like Boyles not doing the whole IndyCar thing, swooping down to the very bottom of the straightaway, but was trying to move that car on a little bit to disturb the air and break the draft. He's been running that middle line through the turn, and there you see it. Wortman's going to fill the hole underneath, and it looks like he is finally going to make the pass on Ed Boyles Jr. for position number 7. He does so through turn number 2, and now it'll be Ed Boyles Jr.'s turn to try to go on the offense, try to get the draft and see if he can get back around that 00 machine. Again, this is all going on for position number 7, and as this run continues, they continue to lose some time on race leader Alonzo King. This is going on now 22.5 seconds behind the 47 car, as it does appear here, Vern, the 95 of Ken Ellert may be starting our second round of pit stops.
Yeah, I was just going to say 95 now entering in pit road. You're going to start seeing these guys diving down. 95 was one of the guys that came in a little bit early last time by. So you're going to, or last time in the pit road, so you're going to start seeing Preston Purier, Ken Ellert also coming in as he is right now, Tim Workman, Ed Boyles. These guys are going to pit a little bit earlier than the leaders to try to get that jump. But boys, I've been telling you all race long, these guys that are pitting early, they're going to be scrubbing off more tires. In that last run, they're going to have to stretch it. Now, are they going to be able to run 24 laps at the end, Paul?
It's going to be tough to tell. Some of the drivers stayed out a little bit longer just to try and stretch the fuel load, maybe to see if they could kind of short pit here and not necessarily have to stay for an entire tank of fuel as the pit crew fills these guys up to a 60% capacity. Running a little bit smaller fuel cell here with the Fatheads Cup Series. And you saw Wayne Bowen in the 11 car. He gave up that 3rd place position there, and he's going to come down pit road. And it looks like pit road's a busy place at this point. A lot of drivers coming on down. Wayne Bowen down there. Trevor Absher, last week's winner, down on pit road. So, and it's another deal is, are we going to see 2 tires? Are we going to see 4 tires? Are we going to see fuel only? It really depends here. I don't think we're going to see too many 2-tire stops, but we've seen crazier things before here on Verdane TV, Kyle.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised to see anything other than 4-tire stops going on here during these green flag runs. I can tell you that Wayne Bowen took all 4. Watching Trevor Absher right now, he is taking all 4 tires. And Vern, like you just mentioned here a minute ago, looking at when these second pit stops are coming with 23 to 25 laps to go, if that fuel window really is 18 to 22 long, I just don't see how these guys are going to be able to make it from here on out. I mean, maybe if you were to come down on like lap 38 or 39, maybe you can find a way. But coming down on laps 36 and 37, I just don't think, if the fuel window really is what we think it is, I don't see how these guys are going to be able to make it all the way from here.
Yeah, and the biggest problem that you're going to see as well is that you're losing a lap when you come in the pits here at Indy. You're losing over a lap, actually, because of that long, slow pit road. So what happens is these guys are going to be running for 3 pit stops thinking that they can gain a whole lap. But keep in mind, they're running 2 seconds slower a lap towards the end of the run. So can they pick up that extra 30 seconds, 20 seconds in a matter of 10, 15 laps? Who knows, Paul?
Lots of jumbled up madness all across the racetrack. If you wanted to follow along, Verdane.net/web timing will get you the live timing and scoring at matches. What's on top of your screen? You can see the Tide car getting a little bit out of shape, letting the leader, the 47 of Alonzo King, get on by. That's going to be the 43 car of Joshua Battles. He's the first car 1 lap down in 12th place, and it looks like he's only made his first pit stop. So Alonzo King really picking him up, putting him down at this point. 17 laps on the run so far, 18 as he crosses the stripe. And this is one of those deals where these guys on pit road really want to hope that the caution flag doesn't come out here, because it'll get a lot of guys trapped 1 lap down, or at least restart in the back if they end up taking that wave around.
Yeah, we're talking all this pit strategy here, and the one thing that we haven't seen all night long is that caution flag. That thing comes out now, and this race turns completely upside down. And I think it's going to take a caution flag for somebody to dethrone that 47 car. He is just looking so good tonight. I saw that Chris Spear was able to close in a handful that last time by. Not sure if maybe he has just a skosh better of a car here on the longer run, but now that we're getting ready to complete lap number 40, 20 laps to go, this is where the pit window is going to open up for the 47 and the 7 machines, giving them their final pit stop. We know that they will be good to go no matter what once they do make this second stop. Me personally, I think I like this strategy the best. We'll have to see how it all plays out here as the green flag pit stop cycle continues. Preston Purrier is down there with his Snark Chevrolet Camaro, coming down to pit road for the second time here tonight, trying to make no mistakes, have a flawless stop. He's been doing a great job. Mentioned earlier, he is the first driver on the outside looking in. It's only by a point, but if things continue to go the way that they are right now, he should be able to put himself in the cut heading into the finale for the round of 12 next week at Michigan.
And being the leader, Alonzo King, he's setting the pace tonight. Chris Spear right behind him. They're going to drive by the pit stalls one more time before they start pitting, calling out their pits. The third place guy, Preston Purrier, he's already been in the pits. He's getting his tires and fuel and coming out. But Alonzo King and Chris Spear, it's all up to these two. These guys are the ones that are dominating tonight. And they're calling the shots out on the track. However long they stay out, it's going to put more of those guys a lap down. And now you're going to start seeing these guys pull in as the 23 is on the outside of them. Chris Spear calling out his pit this time by. So now you're going to see the 47 maybe stay out one more time. But I truly believe this is his time to come in as well.
We'll see as they come around through the turns here, the 47 car and the 7. I really think those guys are in the catbird seat, as well as the number 20 of Charles Stephen. I haven't mentioned him too much throughout the past couple of weeks here, but the 20 car doing a great job running in the 3rd position. He's on the same pit strategy as the leaders, Alonzo King and Chris Spear. You can see Chris Spear ducking on down, giving up that 2nd position to come down and get his final service of the evening here. Oh no, Ed Boyles is around on the front stretch. The 88 car's around. Caution flag has come out. Alonzo King looking like a hero at this point, staying out, as well as, I believe, Charles Stevens stayed out as well. So those two drivers really getting an advantage here in the final third of this race here, Kyle.
This is going to be very interesting for Chris Spear in that 7 machine, because he was on pit road when the caution flag came out. He can take his service and he will not see a penalty. So depending on how things shake up, maybe this works right into Chris Spear's hands, because he'll be able to take over from anybody that is going to pit here under this caution flag. So we'll have to pay attention to that 7 car once things cycle up. We've got the replay pull up here on the Kong Beer Bong Instant Replay. Surprising to get this far into the race before we mention them for the first time, and unfortunately it involves one of our playoff contenders, Ed Boyles Jr., and the Fatheads number 88. You see he's looking underneath Colin Zemer, and he is just a total victim of Zemer. Zemer gets into the outside wall, loses control, makes contact with Ed Boyles Jr. He spins up the racetrack, collects the 19 of Trevor Absher. Absher's able to drive away without spitting out, no problems there. Bounced off the outside wall. You can see the damage on his ride. And look at all of the front end damage on Ed Boyles Jr.'s car. That is not good for him whatsoever. Unlike some of the other series that we race with here on Verdane TV, these guys do not have a fast repair. So this is going to be a race for the crews now to try to repair that 88 machine and get him patched up the best that they can to try to salvage what they can. He's been running inside the top 10 all night. The good thing for him is that at the moment there's only 8 cars on the lead lap. Well, he's not one of them, so I guess that doesn't really help out all that well. But big shake-up here for Ed Boyles Jr. in the playoff picture.
A big win for Chris Spear for pitting when he did. Alonso made a big mistake there by checking up the way he did at this track. If he would have went full throttle and raced it to the caution flag into the pace car, he would have put Chris Spear down a lap because he was in the pits. But it takes about a lap for a guy to go around this joint while the other guy's pitting. He could have lapped him under the caution. Made a big mistake checking up. The big winner out of this, guys, is Chris Spear. Chris Spear diving in the pits when he did, he's going to come out the leader, Paul.
And you can see he's going to stay out on the racetrack. Alonzo King going to bring down pretty much almost all of the lap down cars here. A couple of the lead lap cars as well. Charles Stevens, rather, going to come down and get service as well. So really big shakeup here and a tough break for Ed Boyles Jr. in that 88 car. Currently being scored the first car 1 lap down. It looks like he did get a little bit of work done on that, but he's going to come back down pit road, I'm sure, and get that thing worked on. You can see Preston Perrier staying out to inherit the lead temporarily, but I do believe Chris Spear is going to come around and take over the lead once we get the timing and scoring all squared away here. But a big shake-up and a rough night for Ed Boyles. Came in with a little bit of a cushion, but that's just it. It was a little bit. 12 points up on the cutoff line, and 12 points here in the Fatheads Cup Series is only 12 positions. So that's going to be a rough night for Ed, and you can bet he's going to be doing everything he can to try and at least get back up into the top 10 and see if he can salvage a decent run here with all that damage.
Yeah, and it's going to be very important for him to do just that. With as tight as everything has been in the playoffs in this round, this could spell disaster for him. We made a mention earlier that his teammate, Wade Palmer V, out on baby duty. He came into this race on the inside of the playoff cut line. I don't know if the race officials, if there is anything that they can do for him, maybe add him a provisional point at the end of the field to try to help out. I would assume that because of him not racing, that's going to take him and put him on the outside looking in, heading into Michigan next week. But of course, if that is the case, Ed Boyles Jr. does not want to see multiple Hendrick cars come out this round. They don't want anybody to come out this round, but they still have 4 of their 5 cars in the playoffs at the moment. They have a playoff victory with Mike Miller, so they're going to do whatever they can to try to keep those cars in the playoffs come the conclusion of the race next week at the Michigan International Speedway. Surprising to see that 88 car stay out on the racetrack instead of coming down to pit road, as it does appear that we have gotten the 1 to green. Well, it looks like he decided to do that to try to get his lap back. So he's going to try to limp around this racetrack, hope to catch another quick caution so he can repair that car. A very interesting strategy for him to take, Vern. And with all of that front end damage, he needs to be very careful that that thing does not blow up under the screen flag run.
Oh, without a front bumper, with all that damage, he's bound and determined to blow that engine. But the guys to watch out for, these 2 guys up front, Preston Perrier and David Dulway, they stayed out along with Chris Spear. Chris Spear is on fresher tires than the front 2. The biggest loser on that was your leader going into this was Alonzo King. If he would have pitted with Chris Spear, just think, he could have walked away from everybody. But now He's sitting towards the back of the pack on the lead lap, where these guys, he's looking in saying, man, if I just would have pitted with Chris Spear, I could have came out the leader. But no, now you're seeing those two front guys staying out with a little bit more lap tires or more laps on those tires. And then Chris Spear, the first person on 4 fresh tires. Paul?
So the 13 and the 23 going to take this restart here on lap number 47 from the front row. One thing I want to point out here, taking a look at timing and scoring of that 47 crew, the Alonzo King machine, 1 minute and 13 second pit stop. I don't believe that 47 car had any kind of damage. I wonder what the deal was with that, but does have fresh tires, and it appears that car still in spick and span shape. No bumps or bruises to be seen from our standpoint anyway, but that pace car is going to dip on down into the infield. He's going to get himself a cerveza or two. Green flag is in the air, and the 13 of Preston Perrier gets the jump that he needs. Going to move up onto the high side in front of David Douthwaite in that 23 Columbia machine, and thunder down on into turn number 1.
It's a whole new ball game with 14 laps to go. Preston Perrier in the race lead. David Douthwaite in position number 2. Chris Spear will come out in 3rd. How about Charles Stevens? I don't think we've mentioned his name at all tonight. He comes out with a big benefit from this caution flag in position number 4. Wayne Bowen is 5th, and keep your eyes on that 47 car, gentlemen. With everything that comes down, he may put on a show for us. He's already up to position number 6. We all know how good of a car he has. He knows how good of a car he has. He's going to be aggressive to try to get this lead back, and he is laying it out there big time sideways. Through turn number 3, going to lose some momentum. Ken Ellert tried to close in. Now they're side by side ahead of him. Going to go 3 wide for position number 3. They'll get sorted out a little bit. Charles Stevens goes to 3rd. Wayne Bowen's going to follow underneath. Chris Spear going the wrong way here with 13 to go.
Oh, and a great run by Alonzo coming off that little twitch that he had on that outside. He's getting a big run as he's going down, getting ready to come off of turn 2 onto the backstretch. So watch out for that number 47. He's got a pack of animals right behind him wanting to take that position from him, Paul.
47 heading frontwards, 7 car heading backwards. Big time wiggle for Chris Spear in that number 7 car. Drops back a few positions. You can see right now he's tucked in the tire tracks of that number 95 of Ken Ellert. He's going to try and regather his thoughts just a little bit and see another big wiggle out of the 47 or the 7 car rather. But that 47 is pulling away. Alonzo King really beating up these tires with 12 laps to go. 11 as we cross the stripe.
He is laying it all out on the line. He wants to get himself back to the front of the field. He doesn't want to see this victory opportunity slip away. Side by side in front of him, this is going to help. Oh, he's into the outside wall off of turn number 1. He pushed a little too hard, went up the racetrack, and he slapped the outside safer barrier. He hangs on to position number 5 at the moment, but Ken Ellert closes in. Now that car has some significant damage here. Ellert's going to look to the inside. He's going to immediately throw the block, but it's not going to work. Ellert is there. He's going to try to drive it into turn 3 to take the spot. The outside line's going to work, though. Alonzo King hangs on. Chris Spear closing in, but that car is still all sorts of out of shape. Not a very good handling car for Alonzo King right now. Watch that apron. Here comes Ellert on the top side.
It's those mental mistakes that'll get you every time. That 47 Alonzo King, one mistake after another mistake, causes him to get in the wall like Kyle was saying. Now he's got those pack of animals that's still trying to get by him as that front pack pulls away, Paul.
Alonzo King knows that he is damaged. 10 laps to go. He's going to try and make the best of it. Doing his best to really arc those corners, coming in, making a late apex, and trying to pull away on corner exit. But the 95 knows that he has a little bit less damage than the 47 car. Blood in the water for the 95 of Ken Ellert. He smells that position. He wants to get around there, wants to get that top 5. See if he can chase down that Charles Stevens machine in the number 20. But Alonzo King holding on to the number 5 position. It looks like the number 7 car, Chris Spear, out of shape once again, dropping back a few positions as Tim Wortman Jr. gets on around. And you can see just calamity all over the racetrack. The 95 shoots all the way down low. He's going to try and take that position away from Alonzo King as they thunder into turn number 1.
Chris Spear just had a brutal shot to the outside wall in turn number 3, like you just mentioned there, Paul. He is starting to backtrack big time. Joshua Battles in the 43 gets by. Trevor Rapture gets on by. Tim Ingram is going to try to get on by. And now Caleb Levener is there to try to get on by. These are all cars for position. Not good for Chris Spear, who is running inside the top 3 for the majority of this race. the pit strategy. We thought that he was going to come out really big on this, but he just hasn't been able to hang on, and now he is in severe trouble outside of the top 10. May not even finish there, as there are still a line of cars that are trying to come on by. Whoa, we got trouble up in front of him. Trevor Absher in the 19 is out of shape, and he has gone around. He saved it. He got down onto the apron there in turn number 4, saves the car. He will lose a bunch of positions, but we are going to stay green. A great save by the 19 to Trevor Absher.
Boy, he's got to keep his cool on this one. He's going to keep on losing positions if he's not careful on that number 19 car. But the guy on cruise control right now, that's your leader. What a break for Preston Purrier. Your leader tonight in that number 13 after that caution was able to pull out the lead, keep it with older tires. David DeWitt just behind him about a little over a half a second. And then it's Wayne Bowen, Charles Stevens, and Ken Eller in the top 5. Paul?
Preston doing a great job holding on to that lead. He wants to come home with a victory here tonight and not have to worry about next week at Michigan. Taking a quick look at the points standings. Preston Purrier currently 9th in the points, or came into tonight 9th in points, 1 point out of that cut, behind Alonzo King, who we saw bounce off the wall and currently in the 6th position. So Alonzo wanting to get back up towards the front, wanting to get around the rest of these 12 drivers to try and make his way into the round of 8 here, coming up in 2 weeks' time. But Preston Purrier trying to do exactly what he needs to do, win the race. That 11 car, Wayne Bowen, wants that $60. He's going to get around Preston down on the low side.
Wayne Bowen looking for some cash, looking for some retribution after last week. He will move into the race lead for the first time tonight with 7 laps to go. Wayne Bowen, his Air Jordan number 11 Toyota Camry looks pristine, trying to get to victory lane. He led the most laps last week at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Couldn't get it done. Not a playoff driver. Does not have a win this season. Trying to cash in on that non-playoff driver bonus. He just wants to get to victory lane. And what I was so impressed with him was how positive and how spirited, despite losing that race after leading so many laps. This may be why. He knows how good of a car he's got. He knows how good of a team he is with. He's been in the top 5 all night. Now is his opportunity to lead, and he could steal this one away from all these playoff guys.
And with 2-lap pressure tires in that number 11 car, with that caution coming out, he might be the saving grace for all that caution. He was the one that came out, and it took his time to get around these guys, picked his way through the pack. What a drive for that number 11, Wayne Bowen. Wayne Bowen, now your leader, coming on to the front stretch across the start-finish line. Preston Purrier just falling back ever so slightly, and David DeWitt just behind him.
Call of the race so far right now, boys. I think it's going to be the 88 of Ed Boyles Jr. Currently 28 seconds off the lead, running in 13th. One of the important things to make point, though, he is the last car on the lead lap. If he came down that last caution flag and came down to pit, he'd be scored in 19th because he'd be a lap down as he wouldn't have been able to take that free pass. So a great heads-up call by the Hendrick Motorsports driver of Ed Boyles Jr. Saving himself a little bit of heartache here tonight, getting a couple of extra points here. Not the night that he wanted, but definitely going to be in decent shape, I think, heading into Michigan next week.
We were talking about the decision not to come down pit road under that caution flag to repair that car. So far, it's working out for him on the lead lap in position number 12. He's still logging laps, so at least for the moment here, that car not overheating, not in danger, at least for what we know of blowing up. He's only got to make it run another 5 times to try to hang on, and every single point matters. Ask Carl Edwards how much 1 point matters. He'll tell you exactly how much. So he's trying to do everything he can to get himself as many points as possible to set himself up well for Michigan next week. Just so impressive. For what we've seen tonight here, guys, this has been a dramatic race to say the least, and we're talking about how much the playoff picture can change here in many different occasions tonight. Well, how about Wayne Bowen winning this race? By him winning, nobody gets the automatic berth after this race heading into Michigan, so that would change the opportunity for 3 maximum drivers to win their way in to only 2, and would allow another driver to get in on points. So Wayne Bowen chasing after a victory, chasing after some cash, and could have an impact on these playoffs.
Yeah, Wayne Bowen, just 4 laps left to go. When he takes that checkered flag, if he could take that checkered flag, wow, what a feat he would have right there, coming through the field the way he did. And for starting from 7th is no easy feat. To go through the field, have that pit strategy like he did, and have that caution come out the way it did. Man, what a drive for that number 11. Alonzo King, your former leader in here, he's now sitting in 6th spot, stable right back there. But the biggest loser tonight is that Trevor Absher, sitting 17th right now, last week's winner. So he's got some making up to do on the next round there. So that's something that we got to look out for. Preston Purrier falling back about a half a second to a second a lap now, sitting in 2nd spot. David still in 3rd. Charles Stevens in 4th. Ken Ellert in 5th. Alonzo King in 6th. James Kerr in 7th. Tim Wortman in 8th. Kenny Kukla with your fast time in qualifying and in practice, sitting back there in 9th, and Matt Macklin rounding out the top 10, Paul.
Ryan Kling, Chris Spear, and Ed Boyles Jr., the only other drivers on the lead lap, giving us 13 drivers as we are working towards popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go. Back onto the front stretch for Wayne Bowen in that number 11 Air Jordan car. He's going to cross that stripe, and that flagman's going to wave those 2 popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go here, Kyle, at the Brickyard. Anybody's ball game still. Anything can happen. We've seen some crazy late race stuff happen here on Verdane TV, especially here in the Fatheads Cup Series on Wednesday nights. Going to be a big-time race. It's going to be eventful heading back in the last lap and a half.
He gained almost a half a second that last time by to extend his lead now. A lap and a half to go for Wayne Bowen, riding off into the sunset, trying to get that first win of the season, trying to upset the playoff guys here just a little bit, and he'll come off at turn number 4. Down the front straightaway, white flag goes into the air one more time for Wayne Bowen. Can he hang on? Can he spoil it for the playoff guys looking for win number 1 and a $60 bonus on the season?
His stomach is coming up. He's getting sick. Can he hold on for the next 3 corners, Paul?
So much action throughout the race here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Wayne Bowen's been a front seat visitor, and he's been watching it all night long. He knows that anything can happen here. Currently has almost a 4-second lead over Preston Purrier in that 4th position. David Douthwaite, another second on back. Charles Stevens and Ken Ellert, they're side by side for 4th, and it looks like Ken Ellert going to get around Stevens for that 4th position. But Wayne Bowen working his way towards that checkered flag coming out of the last corner. He's going to get onto that front straightaway again. There's Ed Boyles Jr. finally going to go down 1 lap as he lips across the line in the 13th position, but that doesn't matter for the number 11. He's $60 richer. He's going to be the first driver to win outside of that championship playoffs. Wayne Bowen, the Joe Gibbs Racing driver, the second in this round to win here and the Fatheads Cup Series.
How about that one, gentlemen? It just goes to show you never know what's going to happen until the race is over. 1 caution flag this whole race, but what a meaningful and dramatic caution flag it was. Changed the entire complexion of this race, and we have a non-playoff driver going to victory lane here in the second race of round of 12. Wayne Bowen gets the victory. Preston Purrier will finish in position number 2. David Douthwaite will finish up the podium in 3rd place. Ken Ellert in 4th. And Charles Stevens comes up out of nowhere after that caution flag, and he steals the top 5 with a 5th place run. You have to imagine that there is all kinds of heartbreak inside that 47 camp. Without a doubt, the fastest car here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway tonight was not able to capitalize after the caution flag. He finishes in 6th. Tim Wortman Jr. takes another top 10. Didn't have a strong night, but good enough towards the end. He finishes in 7th. James Kerr in 8th. Pole sitter Kenny Capola finishes in 9th. And Matt Mackin will complete your top 10 in the Napa Auto Parts number 9.
And in 11th place, Ryan Kling.
Boy, that technology is a sketchy thing when it doesn't really want to work, but we're back here. Sorry for the inconvenience. Back here live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the post-race show, the Fatheads Cup Series Indy 150 at the Brickyard. And what do you say, rookie? Why don't you take Vern, take a listen here and catch up with our winner down there in Victory Lane, Wayne Bowen.
Wayne Bowen, good to see you. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. Glad to be here finally.
It's always nice sitting in Victory Lane at Indianapolis at the Brickyard, don't you think?
First win couldn't have come at a better place, to be honest with you. I didn't think I could pull one off here. I usually like the short tracks a little better, but it just worked out today. It just tried to use a little pit strategy and short pit these guys and make up some time and try to make them burn the tires up and run me down while I'm trying to save. And I don't know, caution there at the end, and just I don't know, it just worked in my favor this time.
So I didn't catch it, but did you happen to pit under that caution? You were on fresher tires than the leaders, weren't you?
Yeah, I had pitted just probably about 6 laps before that caution, and when it came out, I just sitting there looking up. You figured we was going to have about a 15-lap run, and I just said, heck with it. If it goes green, it'll pay off to pit and go ahead and get my last set of tires. If they get a caution with 5 to go or come down there green, white, checkered, I may be in trouble if people's got tires, but I just rolled the dice. I said, let's pit now. I got plenty of fuel and I got tires, and really was just see if I could get to the front, which I didn't know if I would make it or not. Those RCR cars were fast, but I got to them. I passed them, and then once I did, I was just able to ride from there and really take care of the tires, and just got a little lead on them, and I really didn't have.
We'll get this post-race show figured out one way or another, folks. Sorry about the interruptions here. Going to have to boot everybody off the Netflix. A very excited Wayne Bowen, and we'll see if we can get him back in here to Wayne Bowen back in here. See if we can get Wayne Bowen back in here to thank anybody that he wants to thank on that number 11 car. Floor's all yours.
Oh, yeah. Again, my teammates, everybody, we worked hard all week on this setup. Just thank, again, especially Jimmy, my wife, for letting me come up here and race, Again, all the sponsors, especially Caleb, with what he's doing, getting these cars ready for these guys that are in the chase, and like I say, and a big shout out to FATHEADZ coming on board, and Vidane here, y'all doing the broadcast. Again, I wished I could think of the rest of them, but I still just, I'm just kind of just can't believe it finally come through, and it worked out, and I'm in victory lane. So just excited.
Great run here, Wayne. Congratulations on finally getting a victory here on Vidane TV in the FATHEADZ Cup Series.
Thank you.
All right, Kyle, you're a little bit further down pit road there, catching up with P2. Preston Perrier, another good run for the 13 car.
Hey, very solid run tonight for Preston Perrier. Preston, a very interesting one for you. Fairly solid all the way through tonight. Had an opportunity to win it here in the late stages. Fell just a little bit short, but either way, still a very solid night. One that's going to help you tremendously going into the final round of the playoffs next week at Michigan International Speedway. How was it for you inside the car?
Oh, man, the car was really comfortable all night. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a rocket ship or anything. I was looking to finish about 5th or 6th all night. But his strategy just worked out in my favor. When that caution came out, I had just come out, so I just stayed out, took the lead. And when I saw Wayne behind me, I knew there was no chance I was going to win that. He was bad fast all night long.
You say you got the opportunity to lead here late in the going. What do you think that you needed differently in order to hang on over Wayne Bowen to get the victory and get that guarantee once again to get yourself into the round of 8? You had a win to kick off the playoffs, so you know how good that feels. What do you think you needed to have a little bit more car?
Well, tonight, I don't know, some jet fuel or something maybe. I did hit the wall on lap 1. I dinged it up, so I was pushing all night. So I think without that, I would have had a little bit better of a chance. Other than that, something sharp falling on the track in front of Wayne's tires.
Checking things out here, seeing that the points have been updated already. And it looks like going into Michigan International Speedway next week, tied for 5th place in the points with Ed Boyles Jr., 15 points above Caleb Levener in position number 9. What do we got to do with this number 13 machine to keep that gap and get yourself into the round of 8?
Just stay in the top 10 and stay out of trouble. Try to go for a win. Of course, there's a few bonus points that go along with that, but just stay safe. Honestly, there's a lot of trouble that can happen. Easy to get caught up in stuff. Just staying safe is the key.
Another solid run for you here tonight, Preston. Who would you like to thank for the runner-up?
Well, our league sponsors have been amazing. We got Sim Nut Sims, Butt Kicker, Budget Sim Boxes, Harpoon Design, and FATHEADZ Eyewear has really stepped up for us. You can go on their website and use the promo code SHOWTIME. It'll give you a 40% off. I want to thank J&R Aquatics. They've recently jumped on as a team sponsor, helping us out and helping Kenny personally a little bit. I want to thank Snar Northeast. They've been helping with my neighbor's dog situations for feels like a couple months now. They've been busting their butts every single day. But I do want to give a shout out to my mom, say happy early Mother's Day. She watches every broadcast you guys do. My girlfriend, she puts up with me doing this every week. Amanda, Daryl, Tara, anyone else watching for me, and everyone who watches the league, thank you for tuning in so much.
The words from second place finisher tonight, Preston Purrier. Once again, points have been updated. He will enter next week's race at the Michigan International Speedway, tied for fifth in the points with Ed Boyles Jr. His 3,065 points puts him 15 points ahead of Caleb Levener, who is the first car on the outside looking in. Not sure who is going to take the third place finisher, Dave Douthwaite, but whoever is, we'll send it on over to you to talk with our third place finisher.
David, you got a copy? David, you got a copy? This is Vern in the booth.
Hey, I got you. How you doing?
Well, we're doing pretty good tonight. Looks like you had a good night as well, hanging around the top three. Towards the end of that, finishing third. Explain what happened on that last run there.
Got some luck my way. You know, I definitely didn't have a top three car, I don't think. Pit strategy favored me, and then some good fighting behind me allowed both me and Preston to kind of gap fourth and fifth place there. So it definitely, that late race caution really benefited us. And, it's about time some luck goes my way, to be completely honest with you.
Well, having a little bit of luck is better than nothing, that's for sure. You looking forward to next week?
So this will be the first race that I'll be going in for a long time where I'm not right on the cusp of the bubble. Looks like I got about a 16-point lead, so I might be a little bit more aggressive than I have been as of late with that big of a buffer.
Anybody you want to thank tonight?
Well, I give a shout out to the Palmers. Wade Palmer, the fifth, is hopefully having a healthy baby tonight. And then obviously Wade Palmer, the fourth, will become a granddad again. So a good shout out to them, and I hope they have a happy and healthy baby tonight.
A great job for finishing third tonight, hanging around the top 10, and then just getting that position at the very end, staying out like you did. Great job, bud. Good job, David. And we want to thank you for coming out tonight.
We appreciate everything you guys do.
Fantastic race here at the Brickyard, and you can see the graphic on your screen right now. The round of 8, still 7 drivers unknown. One known driver is Trevor Absher in that 19 car for winning last week. He is in, and a little bit of a dismal race. Had a lot of damage there, getting involved in a wreck. 16th place, looks like 1 lap down. Want to go through the top 10 real quick here. We had the connection issues earlier. Wayne Bowen, Preston Purrier, and David Douthwaite, the podium drivers. Ken Ellert finishing 4th, Charles Stevens finishing 5th, Alonzo King, Tim Wortman Jr., James Kerr, Kenny Capola, and Matt Mackin rounding out the top 10. And a fantastic race here at Indianapolis here, Kyle. Great race, and I'm really looking forward to these guys racing in Michigan next week.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here impressed as usual with these Fatheads Cup guys. They have become such a good addition to the Verdane TV lineup. A very fun race. Was starting to say before things got a little wonky there. Usually when you come here to Indianapolis Motor Speedway for a NASCAR race, you kind of get concerned as to what kind of a product you're going to get. Is it going to be boring? Are we going to find action? How entertaining is this truly going to be? And these guys put on a great show tonight. Yes, we only had 1 caution, and it came well over 40 laps into this race. But all throughout the green flag run, there was a lot of different strategy that was making this race entertaining. We saw a couple different drivers that had some really good cars and potentially showed that they were going to be a threat for the win. And then it all changed when that one caution flag did come out. Shuffled up the lineup, bunched the field back up, and it allowed Wayne Bowen the perfect opportunity to cap.
Connection issues, the way to go here tonight. But as Kyle was saying, a great race here tonight for the Fatheads Cup Series at Indy. And we're off, usually we're off for a few nights before we kick things back up. But Thursday nights is the new home for the Multi-League Racing Group. And Vern, you're going to be racing at Darlington tomorrow night. What do you got for the track?
Last week, or the last time I raced there was last week in Multi-League. I finished second in behind Jeff Gilmore. He taught me a little bit there. He's one of my teammates with Can-Am. Fuel economy was the winner that night. So look for that number 33 Skull Bandit car as a paint scheme tomorrow night to really strut his stuff. I'm really hoping to have a good night, being that I am the point leader in that division. So I got to be very careful at the track Too Tough to Tame. Darlington, one of the toughest track on the surface. Or on the service right now with iRacing. So it's going to be a fun night tomorrow night, and I'm glad to see you guys announcing for us and calling the race. You guys do a great job, and I'm glad to be a part of the team tonight and calling tonight's race. So I want to thank you, Paul, Kyle, for allowing me to enter in the booth with you.
Absolutely a pleasure, and did fantastic for your first time out in a couple of years, and first time here in the booth of Verdane TV. We're going to get the heck out of here before the connection drops again. We'll catch you on the flip side when we do. We're going to be doing it live, hopefully without all the connection woes. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.